Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Spiritual Psychic TV and this show, Being Spiritual. I'm your host, Ashley Robinson. It's wonderful to be with you tonight. I really look forward to these shows. I look forward to engaging with all of you, my wonderful, beautiful online audience and congregation this evening. If you are joining us for the first time on the channel or this show, welcome to a Spiritualist Philosophy show. I will be able to answer your questions. You can answer me everything. So we love getting listeners' questions come in. So ask Ash anything. I'll be giving some readings in between the questions. We'll see where the subject in conversation will take us. Once a month we do this sort of philosophy in between questions and answers, and then every other week we'll have more of a dedicated theme and we'll focus on one particular area. In the next show, I'm really excited to say that I'm going to be experimenting with producer Mr. Richard James on artificial intelligence, and we're going to be giving you some evidence of life after life, and we're going to be using artificial intelligence based on the evidence they give us around their description to see what sort of images can be generated. We're also going to do some stuff on spirit guides and try and get some evidence of spirit guides for those of you who are aware of that realm. We did a little bit about attunement and guides and meeting your guides, and yeah, fantastic images. So make sure that if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel on YouTube. Make sure you're participating in the live chat, that you've turned on your notifications on Facebook, that you know when we're going live, and that you know that every other Friday you are live with me, Being Spiritual. So a special welcome to any new people tonight, but a warm welcome to all returning viewers. If you want to participate in the show, and we're absolutely delighted for you to do so, then start participating. Let me know who's watching the show tonight. Comment live on Facebook and YouTube. Tell me where you're watching the show from, perhaps in the world, in the UK. Special sending of love and light to all of you this evening. I've said about liking, I've said about subscribing. We're going to get on and take your questions in a minute, but I'd like to do just a couple more sort of hellos and welcomes. So in a moment, our producer Richard will give me some of those comments, and I'll see most of your comments, folks. But bear in mind, sometimes we have up to hundreds of you all commenting simultaneously, so not everything can be presented back to me at home. But I'll try and get your questions. Start getting your questions in now. You can absolutely ask Ash anything. Phyllis Dalton, it joins us, the badass. From Facebook. Looks like she's driving on a motorcycle there. Fantastic. Nick Brown, the lovely Reverend Nick Brown. Good evening, sir. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Evening from Little Ports. Runs, Nick, for those who don't know, Nick runs a wonderful church and centre, and he also has some fantastic content on Spiritual Psychics TV. So make sure you check out all the other producers. Jess Walton joins us from North Dakota. Good evening to you, Jess, on Facebook tonight. Claire Louise Carter, anything for, I'm guessing that's for you as opposed to Mr., or anything for your Mr., please. We will do it, readings, Claire. I'll be drawing cards. I'll be doing a combination of psychic and mediumship. But I want to get some questions in, and I'll do then little mini reads for people that ask good questions. Kathy says hello from Florida, USO. And we've got from Dagenham saying hello to me and Richard, from Caroline May Sandbrooks. Good evening to you, Caroline, on Facebook. And Tina Ann Walker, good evening to you, Tina. Lots of Facebook and YouTube users tonight. Nikki Schools, good evening to you, Nikki. How you doing? Natalie Bentley, hi to you. Joanne Ripper says good evening. Hiya, Joanne. She says, good evening, Ash and Richard. Hope everyone is okay. Watching from Suffolk on Facebook. We've got Christine Davis joining us from Caterham in Surrey. Good evening to you, Christine Davis. As you're watching the show live, folks, do share it. Share this stream, please. Joanne Wood, good evening to you. Just do a couple more hellos. Hi from Essex. Hiya, Nicola. Good evening. Okay, I'm sharing the stream myself. Amsterdam region, Limo de Pimo. Good evening to you. Olivia Louise Funwood. Hi, Ash, from Frimley, Surrey. Hiya, Livy. Lovely to have you tonight. Reverend Leslie Morton. Good evening to you, my friend. Leslie always asks good questions, and that's what I'm looking for tonight, folks. Good questions. I like to take a daily spiritual advancement, and this show challenges me to be at my best to work with my guides. Lovely Phil Shaw, good evening to you. Phil Shaw and I were chatting today about some of the logistics at Wimbledon Spiritualist Church. Phil does a fantastic job running our social media at Wimbledon Spirit. We are producing our show via SPTV most Sundays. This Sunday, we've got the fantastic Ivan Lee from Wimbledon Spiritualist Church, folks. Did you check it out? Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. Mary Dixie says good evening to you. Hiya, Mary. Great to see you back online. Mary, continuing to send you some spiritual healing and some love and light. We know you've not been well and not long out of hospital. We look forward to seeing you in person at the church soon. Mary was one of my circle leaders, folks, a wonderful teacher. Okay, so first couple of questions starting to come in now. We're going to jump straight into them tonight, folks. Olivia says, ears ringing in different pitches and tones. Is this spiritual? If so, what do I need to do to channel or hear what he's trying to express? So always look for the more obvious things, the natural and the medical, Livy. But if you've not been any sort of loud noises, nightclubs, drums, people playing, loud music, anything suddenly gone bang, which could suggest some of the ringing, and that you're absolutely certain there's nothing medical, you don't need sort of any medical diagnosis. It's possible. It's absolutely possible. Vivid images, vivid sounds, vivid sort of smells is the difference between what's happening in this 3D realm. So if you feel that you're picking up on a different type of ringing, which is more vivid than the ringing you would get after walking out of a nightclub, and I think I've been with you once or twice, Olivia, certainly my wife has, when you've walked out from loud music, you'll know the difference between that type of ringing. And it could be that your ears are starting to pick up on things. And we talk about the clairs, clairaudient, someone who sees, clairaudient, someone that hears spirit. Maybe you're starting to pick up things which aren't necessarily things you're picking up with your ears. The way the ears work, the way that sound, vibrates and sort of channels, it affects balance. Spirit don't need to communicate to us in that way. They can communicate directly in the mind's eye. Equally, they can influence, all of our senses, and they can give us noises. Ultimately, in terms of channeling and hearing, all of it starts around the same. It's about getting yourself really well grounded and sort of disciplined, and all of the usual things about hygiene factors in your life, drinking enough water, staying hydrated, getting plenty of sleep and rest, and taking time out for you, investing in your own sort of mental health as well as your physical health. Once you're able to do that, it's all about clearing the mind's eye. And if you imagine a mirror or a canvas, I always think about it in the center of my forehead. Often people talk about the pineal gland in actually more central brain, but clearing that, for me, that starts by, right, I need to clear the to-do list, the shopping list, all the other things I've promised I'm going to do. And when I'm able to do that, it's like a radio, it's just tuning in. We've done a couple of different shows, folks. You can check them out on the playlist, Meeting Your Guides. We've run some guided meditations as well around the meeting circle. And actually, through guided meditations, getting to that point, meeting your guides, all of that preparation is really important. Now, you can just hear, see, smell spirit without any of that, but once you understand who your guide team is, it's just like clicking your fingers. You flick a switch and you're able to attune to that point. Your guide teams are producing with you, because anything you're getting, Livy, it's important to challenge the communicator. Who is producing, in this case, ears ringing, why, what's the purpose. If it's uncomfortable, tell them to take it away. But hopefully I've given you some good sort of general practitioner points. Sign yourself up to an open circle, Livy. Find yourself a good circle leader and think about the opportunity to develop. The card I drew for you is the money card. There we are. We've got this guy, this farmer at the top of the field. They're working hard, looking at the crops. You can see there's no leaves on the trees. We're probably around that autumn period. And it's all about, the opportunities we've had during the spring. And at the moment, I want to say to you about the seeds that you've planted, particularly around your spiritual development, Livy. All those things you've started to do over the spring and sort of transitioning over the summer, keep on keeping on, because if you continue to plough that field, I feel that you're going to get towards your value. You're going to get towards that thing which you seek. Now, buried in the forefront of this picture is some silver coins, and it's sort of almost like sometimes you don't find the monetary value of your work. Sometimes you bring in those those crops. Sometimes there's just things that you need to continue to dig deep. And with this card in particular, Livy, for you, I was going to say, just keep digging deep, keep doing what you're doing, keep attuning, keep dedicating time to you, investing into you. Find that time, sit in that sort of power, and then invite your guides to come in a couple of weeks time. We're going to do a little bit of a session on meet your guides. I'm going to try and provide evidence of some of your spiritual guides in your team, but for me it's really important as an evidential medium that you actually know a bit about this, because I could say almost anything. I wouldn't, but I could say almost anything. And if you don't know how to verify that, then it's no evidence. I mean, it's a nice thing. We're going to do the experiment with the artificial intelligence. But between now and the next 14 days, Livy, go off and find some evidence of who might be in your guide team. And then in a couple of weeks' time, I'll try and give you more evidence of that guide to verify the information you already have. And we'll see what the artificial intelligence can produce for us. You say, thank you so much. Definitely we'll look into Circle. That's brilliant. Thanks a lot, Livy. Good evening to you. And thanks for getting in with the first question. So, folks, as you can see, you can ask absolutely anything. Livy says she takes 100% of that. She'll be tuning into the guide show in a couple of weeks. Fantastic. I got back from a funeral this evening, folks. There's my dad. Look at that. Collective consciousness. My dad and I were at a spiritualist burial today. One of our viewers, long-time viewer, member of our church, been a member of my sort of remote family about 35-40 years, Jackie Turner, and we paid our final physical respects to her today. And I was part of that service with my dad, my first spiritualist burial. Reunited with her husband and son in heaven. Kathy Littlewood comes in with the next question on Facebook. Hiya, Kathy. So Kathy says, do you believe that we must go through divine detours in our life journey, sometimes to discover our true life purpose? Good question, Kathy. And I've done lots of shows around the concept of karma and the concepts of reincarnation. But if we focus just on this experience and this incarnation right now, I do believe that there's an element of destiny at play. I do believe that almost every single experience was meant to be, and certainly be really important as we look back and evaluate our lives at the end of the life after that change our body goes through that we call death. I don't think it's absolutely necessary that we have to do detours in order to continue on the life journey, but I do think that if there is an element of destiny, let's imagine that our life is therefore a divine project with a start point at the point of conception, several important milestones like birth, birthdays, perhaps when we meet partners, get certain jobs, have certain experiences, and the sort of all the different products that we deliver throughout our life results in a final change that our body goes through that we call death. Assuming that Project Divine is in play and that we have helped design it as the senior responsible officer, as the business case lead, and we've decided to incarnate and have that experience. It is possible that what happens is scope creep. Now, I keep getting all this real project management lingo with Kathy, and I think this would be quite relevant to you, as I do have a spiritualist communicator coming in saying, I'm the spiritualist. He just said, remind me, he's not a spiritualist. Right, I've got a man claiming to know you, Kathy. He's claiming to be family, and you'd understand this project management, project and program management in a professional setting, because he was influencing as I was answering this question. I'll try and give you some more evidence of him in a moment. And he was saying, if all of these products in your life, all of these experiences, is it possible there was a little bit of scope creep? Did you stay in your lane, Kathy, or did you fall out of your lane? Was you distracted by something shiny? The services on the motorway looked like it had a good offer on, and therefore you've taken these little detours. Now, ultimately, all of that becomes part of your foundation, right? All of that is part of your experience and was therefore meant to be. I also think that if the universe is pulling us through Project Divine like a piece of elastic to our intuition, guiding us in that general direction, because we have our own free will and accord, we have personal responsibility, we make our own decisions, it's absolutely possible that we don't take the most direct route towards the end, towards paradise, towards, project delivery and completion. And therefore, some of these detours actually might be the universe pulling us back on track. Sometimes we feel that this detour was really important, and actually I do think everything will be important towards the end. So, Kathy, I hope that makes some sense to you. And what I'm effectively saying is, yes, I think it's possible. No, I don't think it happens every single time. And that, yes, I do believe that every experience is meant to be. Even the experiences influenced by other people, well, it was obviously part of their destiny. And I want to continue to bring in this communicator, Kathy. So I've got this man with me. This man said he knows you. He said he's family. He was a father and grandfather. He's given the letter D. D is important. D for Delta. I keep seeing my granddad Del. I don't know if Del or Derek. Dandy. Also important. You'd understand this letter D. And also with my granddad, his birthday was in July. In fact, we would have had his birthday last week. And I feel like the middle of July was important, Kathy. You'd understand the significance of you celebrating the middle of July, marking that in the calendar, while this communicator would too. Kathy says she's been very resistant to change, but then the last 3 years have been on a spiritual journey. I feel that I'm now on the right path for my true purpose, which is helping others heal. Absolutely, Kathy. You've felt the pull of that elastic, the pull back to the straight and narrow path, the path of least resistance as part of your destiny. So I'm glad that that resonated with you. I hope you understand his communicator who popped in to help influence the answer to that question. And I feel like the project and program management stuff in your life would be quite important. I've got this real sense of that sort of order being needed, and this real clear sort of start and finish date with things to be delivered in between. That was why we articulated the answer to that question. So, Kathy, that was your communicator and your message, and I'm glad that you've understood. And you've just confirmed for me your father-in-law that passed, his name was Dusty. You understand the D for Delta. Good. Thank you very much, Kathy. Thank you for giving me that confirmation. So some good questions coming in, folks. And I say, ask me anything. For those of you that are here specifically for meetings, come up with a question. Ask something spiritual, and I'll try and come to. Jeanette says, are there other means to honing your abilities without a mentor? There are, Jeanette. I do recommend a spiritual guide or a mentor, circle leader to sort of assist with that. It's not absolutely necessary, and you can continue to do this. So firstly, there's loads of great content on sptv.uk. Have a look at some of the training academy, have a look at some of the things that are run. You can sign up to be a VIP, a very important patron of SPTV UK. There's lots of VIP nights where we do lots of stuff virtual and online. There are also online circles. The lovely Dawn Collison Query, one of our spiritualist celebrants at Wellness Spiritualist Church, is running an online circle right now. She's looking for expressions of interest on Tuesday nights. This will be on Zoom. I think it's only about £3.50. It goes to the church. Phil Shaw, that was on a little while ago, he runs an open platform at our church in Wimbledon where people can turn up. So you'll see these things pop up to spiritualist churches and centres wherever you are based in the world. Plus, there's some stuff online. But Jet, a bit like drawing or singing, or a sort of another skill, the more you practice, the more that you can hone in these abilities, because we all have the ability to work with the spiritual gifts. And if you think about abilities, if we talk about spiritual gift of mediumship and talking to friends and family in the spirit world, practice. Find time, a little bit what I was saying earlier on, find time, invest in yourself, get to that point of meditation where you can start to meet your guides, then ask your guides to introduce communicators, come up with signs, tokens and words so you understand, friend from foe. Always test your communicator, validate who they are, and then start working through that. So yeah, absolutely possible, Jeanette, for you. And the card I drew for you is the card of friendship. Okay, there you are. Jeanette sat at the table with two friends. There's a parrot in the background, and this parrot is repeating absolutely everything that is said. They're having a good time, and one of the friends are tapping this lady on the shoulder, and there's an element of reassurance there. And I think it's important, your friendship circle in particular at the moment. I want to say that you've kept some friends out of an immediate circle of trust, and that the people that are in there right now are influencing you. That's quite important. There's an element of you needing a little bit of love and a little bit of affection. I feel it's quite important, Jeanette, at the moment, that the people that are quite close to you, you have lowered the shields. You've brought them in quite close to that sort of intimate space that friends and family come, and you need a good hug. That's what I'm sort of being told there. And there's this element of reassurance coming your way that you're on the right path, you're on the right track. We want to say keep on keeping on. I'm getting the serenity prayer about recognizing the situations where you can only control your reaction. You can't actually control the situation, and to have the serenity to understand the difference, the courage to get through. And the other thing I was getting, Jeanette, was that footprints path. And about the two sets of footprints in the path, recognizing perhaps some sort of divine guide, your guardian angel, walking with you along the sand. And at some of the most difficult times in your life, when you only see one set of footprints, it wasn't that your guide or your mentor, your guardian angel, God, Jesus, whoever you want to sort of see there, not that they abandoned you, but it was at that point they carried you. And I want to say that with that friendship card, I'm getting this real sense of us needing to do a little bit of that now. Just pick you up, keep you going in the direction you're going, let you know how much we value you, let me know and let you know how much we love you, Jeanette. So hopefully that card makes sense to you and you're happy with the answer to your question. Good stuff, Jeanette. Thank you very much. I'm going to grab some water and we'll take in the next question. Do spirits attend their own funerals, says Stacey? Oh, lovely question. Yes, they do. Not always. It often depends the mindset that they had when they went, and their belief system just before they passed. So at the funeral today, I'm absolutely certain that Jackie was there. In fact, not only did one of the ladies, Jane, who gave a tribute, mention having Jane influence, Jackie influencing Jane yesterday. Just after she passed, Jackie had said about her funeral and getting what she wanted, and I know that she was there today. I also saw her there with her husband and her son. They'd all come to actually see the burial, and she made a bit of a joke. I love Jackie, and she had absolutely no filter, and she made a joke about the undertakers not dropping her, and I just heard her right over my shoulder. That was the first evidence I had of her today, and she was like, "Don't you let them drop me," and they were getting ready to put the actual coffin into the ground. If the person that passed had no belief in life after life, then it might be a bit of a shock to them to suddenly realize there is something. I've been aware of some spirits that refuse to leave the shadow of the body. The interface is disconnected and their personality is refusing to leave. And they feel they're going to have to rot there and wait there. Perhaps they're waiting for a magical trumpet to be summoned. Perhaps like Jehovah's Witnesses, that belief in being summoned to the sort of kingdom and only a few people there. If that belief system is really strong in the physical life, then in the next life, it sometimes takes a bit of coaching, for want of a better words. Your family and friends start turning up and say, look, you don't need that body anymore. It's time to sort of give it up. We know that in certain situations, particularly where there is mental health, poor mental health situations, then people, the first thing they do is they get checked into the equivalent of a hospital or a psychological sort of hospital, and they get the mental health, they get the support they need. If they've gone through a particularly aggressive or violent tragedy, if they've gone through something quite sudden, then they often have psychological impact on their spirit. And sometimes they need that equivalent of rest and relaxation. But no, we often hear from people, and as spiritualists, we often, and as a spiritualist celebrant conducting the funerals, we often see them there. They're there at the celebration of life. They often pass comment about it being a good turnout or not a good turnout, or not liking the music or liking the food. And I think it's great evidence of their life after life. And most people that live a spiritual life, I think, quite enjoy that comfort and confirmation in the days, or weeks, months following someone's passing to the spirit world. So good question, Stacey. Thank you for asking that. The question okay, right, thank you. I've got this card, the Beast. I've also got a woman working with me, Stacey. This woman claims to know you, and she was saying that you had another question for her. This woman that claims to know you was claiming to be family. She's talking about being nan, grandma. She's talking about being grandma. I know that you're S for Stacey, but Stacey, I want to call you Stace, and I want another S, almost like SSF, Stace Fernan. There's something about the S, the other S. There's another S. I feel like I'm missing someone. I don't know if she's talking about perhaps about a sibling that would make sense as well. There's this anniversary of a passing in February, and she was given the numbers 2 and 7. And I feel like the 2 and 7 work together as a 27, perhaps on a door. I've got this dark stained wooden door, inward opening, hinges on the left hand side as it opens in, the number 2 and 7 in sort of yellow metal, brass coloured metal on the door. Like 27 would have been an important number, you'd understand that. She was talking about this question you had for her, and she was talking about the beast. Now this isn't the sort of the ugly sort of beast. This card in particular, it's a red reptilian. I often think about my fire element. I think about the fact that my dragon, my protector, my guardian. And she says, you're asking for protection. You've got it. The beast at the door will be warned off by their dragon that is in this realm to protect you. I feel like fire, in particularly flame, is a really important thing for you, Stacey, that you would understand that your connection with the element of fire, you seeing that as a protection. I'm also being told about you lighting a candle and all you being well connected to these elements. But this beast at the door, you know that you've got protection. You know that you are well protected. Don't be afraid is what I was being sort of told. Now, the characteristics of the beast, the characteristics of the dragon are often misunderstood. But what I want to talk about is the challenge of facing up to darkness, facing up to evil. And in a particular situation at the moment, Stacey, I want to say that you faced up to someone toxic. There was a toxic element to a relationship, and that you represent that's challenged. The dragon, the beast, shows me that you have faced up to evil. It also stands for confrontation. I feel that there was an element of confrontation involved in you challenging the status quo. Now, sometimes with this card, we talk about the dark forces of an unconscious mind or a wandering unconscious mind. And I feel this is linked to a male that someone that was alive, and there was something toxic about their relationship with you, that you would understand that bad temper, a spiteful side to the experience that this person is going through. But you challenging the status quo, being well protected, well grounded now, and this beast at the door. So, Stacey, hopefully that all makes sense to you. I hope I've answered your question. You've also understand your communicator and why they influenced me to pull that card for you. You said you're going to check with your mum about the dates. Please do. I've already forgotten what I said. Sadly, as a medium, you work as an interface, and I forget about 99% of everything I've said after I've actually said it. But yeah, good. I'm pleased that makes sense, and she's moved on now. Stacey, that was your little message. Thank you for asking the good question there, Stace. LJ, how long after someone passes can a message come through, and how do babies communicate? Oh, lovely question. Two-pronged question, LJ. People can pass immediately and communicate, and sometimes they'll never communicate. One of my dear friends, Fernie, always said that after this experience as a human being, she was going to go and rest and finally put her feet up and not bother anyone else again, and she was going to chill out. And you know what? We've never had evidence directly from her, from the spirit world. Now, I know she's there because I've had people say that they've seen her up there, but she doesn't communicate at all. She sees no reason to do it. So I think it is down to the personal decision and also their personal will. Messages, I say, can come through immediately. I've been aware of situations where people have had out-of-body experiences in the final chapters of this life before their body goes through that change we call death, and how they've sort of got people talk about 1 foot in the grave, but 1 foot in the spirit world, and they start communicating with friends and family. There's some wonderful articles about nurses and doctors and those in palliative care talk about people crying out names of friends and family from heaven that have sort of come to see them, and their mind is starting to interface as they're returning back to that place, that existence, and that sort of energy. So yeah, hopefully that answers the first part of that question. Babies communicate in different ways. So if you think about the voice and the way I'm communicating now, we're communicating, streaming over YouTube in your case, voice and language is a very complex thing, which as human beings we've decided is absolutely essential. But almost all of my spirit communication doesn't come through verbally. They do influence my voice box and my verbal sense and sort of reasoning, because I, as a medium, I provide that palette of information for them to communicate. But it's more telepathic. It's more done so in thought. And in the spirit world, there is no need for a physical body. Now, lots of people recreate a spiritual vessel for themselves in that spirit world, and they often reproduce that without any of the imperfections they had on Earth. But from a baby point of view, lots of different things can happen. So if they are a spirit being who was started to become a human being at the point of conception, and then actually that transition right through to around 6 months and the transfer of the full personality to the baby didn't take place, then in the spirit world they get the choice to continue to develop as a baby, and they can do that either in spirit time or earthly time. If it was a baby that died after taking a couple of breaths or walking the sort of first couple of steps on earth, then again they are greeted in the spirit world. There are spirit nurseries, schools. There are places where babies in particular are looked after. Now, at the point of conception, LJ, in that place I call heaven, the vision that I've had is of guardian angels, guides, certainly spirit beings coming together and almost putting out their hands, okay? And as at the point of conception, when biologically what happens between a man and a woman, male and a sperm and an egg, as that comes together, as that moment of conception happens, there is a spirit sort of guardian angel dedicating their entire spiritual life to the existence and incarnation of the person that's just been conceived. And as the spirit being starts to take up that relationship, it's almost been physically held in that spirit sense. Now, that still happens in a laboratory, okay, because it's the energy of the sperm and the egg. But if after incarnation, if after conception they can't incarnate because the physical baby hasn't developed enough, that energy continues to develop in the spirit world, and the new personality of what would have been the experience can happen. And sometimes people stay physically the same, children stay the same age, sometimes they grow up, but they continue to evolve, they continue to advance themselves if they so desire. And I've had lots of confirmation about that from my own children. I'm aware of at least 3 beings that tried to be human beings before my wife and I were able to have our 3 boys. I've also had evidence from my boys in various stages of them saying goodbye to each other at heaven's gate and coming down to earth. But we know that the three beings, I believe that there was going to be 2 females, 2 girls that would have been born, and then twins, which would have been a boy and a girl. I don't think my wife was medically, sort of health-wise, able to carry girls, and they continue to develop in the spirit world, and they are aware of us dedicating sort of certain things, names, tokens, flowers to them, and they've grown up in the spirit world, looked after by my friends and family already there. So when they communicate, because they've not in this life and in this personality had the experience of talking, they influence me telepathically. And often a spirit guide of mine, someone like Bob, who I knew while they were alive, will literally just talk to me. So in my mind's eye, I'm having a conversation with Bob or my nan, and they'll say, we've got the girls up here, they're all right. And it's almost like a narrative, like they're giving me a report on how they're getting on. And it's the same way that animals, animal kingdom, when they're in the spirit world, I don't become Dr. Doolittle and I don't start listening to the Yorkshire Terrier Brandy that's telling me about a steak dinner with his mum and dad before he passed the spirit world, but he's influencing me telepathically, or the human being is communicating as part of that attunement with the energy. So LJ, hopefully that answers your question, and folks, I hope that I'm giving you my opinion on it. That's my caveat. I will tell you absolutely everything I know, everything I'm influenced, everything I believe to be the truth, but it's my opinion. My opinion based on the evidence that I've come to sort of feel or experience or to know. But actually, if it doesn't resonate with you, you don't have to agree, and you might have alternative evidence. And just before I take Kerry's question, I just wanted to draw this card for LJ, which is the Tower, and I want to say you're safe there, LJ. Absolutely safe in the Tower. High up on the hill fort, you are seeing the big picture, my friend. It's really important that you have been able to elevate yourself to a situation that you know a little bit more than other people exactly what's gone. And that castle in the picture, it's standing on the hillside, the old hill fort, LJ, without a moat, but it's visible. There's a beautiful, strong door, so there's entrance. We're open for business. You and your personality, proud, stern, unyielding, okay, that represents you in the Tower. This card for me also represents the achievements gained in the face of adversity. I want to say, LJ, there's been some challenge, and I want to say congratulations, well done. We absolutely recognize that from the spirit world as well. Now, it can often perceive that the pride that goes before a fall, it could also stand for male sexuality as a card. So I don't pick up on the male sexuality within the card, but want to talk about a male energy within your life, a younger male well, and I want to talk about a level of confidence which borderlines on arrogance, and the fact that you are keeping this person in check and you're nurturing that development of that young male. So LJA, that card was for you, and I do hope that the question was answered, and then I'll take my next question. How do spirit animals work? Are these similar to spirit guides? Says Kerry. Kerry, nice question. I mean, lots of people have lots of opinions on this. I think the animal kingdom do go to spirit and their personality, which most of us, particularly with animals, like domesticated animals that we have at home, like dogs and cats, you see the personality, don't you, of these wonderful animals. And after their body goes through that change of death and they transition, they exist in the spirit world and the spirit realm too. So other people talk about spirit animals or spirit guides. Some people talk about, your Native American animal or your sort of your spirit guide. And I think all of these things are symbols. Now, in the grand sort of scheme of incarnation and experience, I believe that in the same way that our bodies are physically made of atoms, and atoms are in itself made of particles of energy, and that each of those individual particles of energy are in themselves intelligence and therefore life, all of those particles of animals can go on to be something bigger. Now, as human beings, I think that on planet Earth, we're amongst one of the most physical, complex things. You think about all of the different atoms and particles of energy that comes together. Now, I do think it's possible that we evolve, and when we become personality. Now, with the personality of Ashley Robinson, previously to other human experiences, I might have different atoms and energy and particles of energy from different experiences. Perhaps started millions of years ago as minerals and plants and animals, and eventually all of these atoms can reform, because we know that energy can't be destroyed, we know it can only be changed. I think that it's all possible that eventually in the spirit world, as a spirit being, perhaps as part of an experiment to better understand themselves, they incarnate at the point of conception as a person. Animals, I think, work exactly the same. Now, some spirit animals could be older souls, and they might have reincarnated thousands of times. And we get these wise spirit animals. Sometimes they're purely symbols, okay? And if you think about the way we work with emojis now and our mobile phones and certain symbols, what they mean to us, then spirit animals, in the same way we use tarot cards, all of that could just be about imagery and icons for us to have a greater understanding. Some people might talk about the lone wolf, for example, as a spirit animal. Oh, my spirit animal is a lone wolf. And they say, well, what is the lone wolf telling you? Is it telling you about your introverted side and the fact that you need to continue to dig deep and get the energy from yourself? As the lone wolf, were you once the leader of a pack? Have your pack gone on to sort of bigger, wiser, greater things? Are you like me? Spirit animals, probably some sort of rhino born in a china shop, knocking everything over. All of these things can represent bits about our personality, bits of things going forward. And as I was talking, one of my guides is Bear. Now, Bear certainly lived a life. He had an experience as a human being. Running bear. Sometimes people used to call him. Someone had seen a bear run through camp when he was born in Virginia, 1700s. And as Bear, was working with me there just then, he said, well, one of her spirit animals is eagle. And you're saying here about feeling wolf too, if you're honest. I think that with the eagle overlooking the wolf. Sorry, Richard? Okay, producer Richard was showing wolf here as a sort of spirit animal. So my guide Bear was saying that she would resonate with what you just said. You gave him that verification at that exact moment, and he was talking about the eagle, and he was talking about rising high, seeing everything that is in front of you. And this is really important. And Bear was saying, draw that card. I've just drawn this card now. This is the voyage. This is you on your journey, the next chapter, the experience. You are the captain of your ship. You are the architect and designer of the next chapter of your life in terms of what you're doing, and more importantly, where you are going, Kerry. And the eagle is like your forward intelligence team. Here you are on the ship is commissioned, you've got everything you need. enough food, enough training, enough equipment, enough guidance. Off you go. The Eagle is the forward intelligence team. And as you come alive, and as the ship comes alive out of that, in particular, that ancient map, the galleon sails in the ocean, this voyage of discovery. And Kerry, I want to say that there's an element of you continuing to get to know you. It's almost like an onion. You've peeled a layer. You're revealing something about you. This voyage of discovery is really important. And the Eagle is there. Now, the Eagle flying the ship, all of this also talks about foreign travel. I want to say, Kerry, that you'd understand this intimacy of traveling. I want traveling over water, foreign travel being quite important. Foreign connections. That was the other word I was hearing there. So the foreign travel, because I've got the bird and the ship, I've got the voyage, I've got these foreign connections, this international link. I'm also linking that to money. I feel there's a likelihood of travel. It could point, sometimes with that code, could point you going on holiday. But I feel with you, there's something professional there. There's this international connections, but new aspects of you, Kerry, because you're on this voyage of discovery. And new aspects of yourself will be found. Another voyage across your inner world, or across your inner self, your higher self. And I think that is all really important. So the lone wolf, the introverted energy, I feel that was more than just an actual example, because I had my own guide coming through, particularly as I was talking about Native American. And Kerry says, I know, right, how weird is this? So hopefully that all makes absolute sense to you, Kerry, and that you've understood the card, you've understood the meaning of the interpretation behind that card, and Bear linking in with you there just a little bit. My guide, giving you some of those Native American Indian links. Now, lots of people always sort of say, why are there so many Native American Indian guides in the spirit world? I think that, if you think about spiritualism in its modern term, only about 175 years old, Native American Indians being very well grounded and sort of attuned people. There's lots of them up and available in the spirit world to help us. Kerry says she's in the process of finding myself, and I feel like I'm nearly there. Strong arm, absolutely, Kerry. Keep on keeping on, my friend. So yeah, lots of Native American Indians in the spirit realms, ready to assist us. They were quite well attuned to this sort of stuff, because ancient spiritualism, or bear in mind, spiritualism is a modern religion that we kind of created without any real need or direction from the spirit world to do so. Native American Indians, other ancient civilizations, tapping into this energy, working with their guides and ancestors, for thousands and thousands of years. So they're just a pretty clued up people as a sort of civilization, and they are available. Doesn't mean that the only guides are Native American Indians. My principal guide is Bob. Bob was a carpenter, a pretty talented carpenter. He was a healer, he was a boxer, and he lived a life right up till the late 80s, early 90s in the UK, I believe. And I knew him. He was my godfather, as that godfather figure to me, and he's one of my guides. So, everyone has the opportunity to come on board and help. So, Kerry, that was for you. Jessica Wynn. Hello, Ashley. Hello, Jessica. How are you? Michelle says, nice to meet you. And it's lovely to meet you too, Michelle. Stacy, I've asked several times for someone to come to me in my dreams, and they still haven't. How can I encourage them to do? Keep doing what you're doing, Stacy. Maybe they have come and you're unable to recall it. Maybe they've come and they've been unable to influence you. You could also experiment in more of a meditative state. So through meditation, work with your guide team. But as a spiritualist medium, I always say, I'm not a DJ. I can't take requests. I can't bring forward the one person that you want to communicate. It just doesn't work like that. I know there are some mediums that claim that they can do it all the time. I think it's quite rare. I think that the communicator is often random, but, and I do have plenty of experience of this, I do think that the client that I'm reading for often influence who the communicator is. And that annoys me, because there's sometimes a client will turn up and they go, I really want to talk to this person. And even though I've just said that I think the communicator comes with the sitter, it's not always the person they want to see. Sometimes it is like the one person they do not want to hear from, which is really peculiar. So I think some of it is, what are they doing out in the spirit world? Are they available? Are they off doing training? Are they in the halls of learning? Are they shopping? Are they down at the cottage by the sea? Are they driving cars through countryside, going for walks and hikes? Are they re-educating themselves? Are they creating a list of detriments of their personality, and they just haven't caught up with sort of earthly time? Have they reincarnated? Are they not available, the personality of that person? So you have to sort of think about all those different reasons, and it might be that they have influenced you, and you've just not been able to catch it back. Maybe try asking the person a question rather than just "Can you come to my dream?" Try asking them a specific question. Write the question down on a pad next to your bed. Try through meditation to see if you would automatically write the answer or instinctively write the answer. Have the pen ready there. And the first thing you do in the morning, make sure it's a closed question. When you get up, write down the first thing that comes to your mind. And maybe that is the influence they gave you in your sleep. So, Stacey, I want to give you this answer to a question, which is now. So I've drawn for you the decision card. Now is the time to reap in the products of the harvest. Now is the time to act. Now is the time to absolutely go for this. And I feel like you've already put in all the right work. I'm getting confirmation for you, Stacey, from the spirit world. Just keep doing what you're doing. You've got this. Be patient. They need to. Okay, I feel that. Right, I feel, because I'm being told that there is a lady that you're trying to communicate with in the spirit world. Don't know if it's the same person you're asking to in your dreams, but I've got a man with me saying she's not worked out how to pick up the phone yet, love. Right, that was what this man just said to me. I said, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I know, Stace. Stace, it's me." Right, and I got the letter B. B for Bravo, and I want to roll my R's, and I don't know, Stacey. Stace, it keeps shortening your name to Stace. I don't know if the rolling of the letters would be important to you. The letter B, Bravo, is quite important with this communicator. He's got links. Okay, thank you. There's an okay. You would understand links to the East End of London. Stacey, he was just telling me this man with the letter B, he's passing with heart failure, heart-related condition. Boom, and I was gone. He just said to me, boom, and I was gone. He was a father, he was a brother, he was an uncle. There was this strong sibling link there. I feel I'm on dad's side of the family. I don't know if this is like dad's brother, dad's great uncle, your great uncle, your dad's uncle, brother. I've got this real sort of strong link there. Dad's side of the family. That would make sense. So, Stacey, you're saying yes. I hope you're saying yes to all the things I've just said. That would be lovely, lovely feedback and verification for me, and to a certain extent, my ego. And why do we need an ego? We need an ego to get out of bed every morning, don't we? We need an ego to get on YouTube and talk about spiritualist philosophy and answer listeners' questions sort of live. But we need not enough ego that we can't get our head through the door. So it's not about inflating ego, but thank you for the confirmation. Lets me know that it makes sense to you, Stace, and that it resonates with you. Thank you very much, love. Love, it's him. It's him calling you love. And he means it in an endearing way, Stace. Thank you very much. How you doing? Says Vinny in a Joey from Friends voice. That was the voice I heard there, Vinny. How you doing? I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Vinny. How are you? How you doing? Vinny, I'm just inspired to draw you a card as well. The Cave. Vinny. Okay, thank you. Right, I've got you. Well, it's not you, but there is a naked human being, new chapter, new opportunities about to emerge. And I want to say that this Hello, folks, and for those of you that have been waiting patiently, thank you so much. We had some technical problems, and I got kicked offline. So I'm back online, and I was saying, "How you doing?" To Vinny. Vinny, I hope you're still there, my friend, because I wanted to give just a very quick reading to you. I said you had to ask a spiritual question. How you doing wasn't the most deep of spiritual questions, but I felt suddenly connected to you. And Vinny, I drew this card, which was the cave. And there's a naked human being about to reinvent themselves, rebirth. They're turned away from the light, and actually, to the contrary, I want to say, continue, my friend, to turn and face the light. You would be aware around a situation around you, an immediate situation, Vinny, which I would describe as a sort of an element of sadness or depression. And I've got like the phoenix rising from that, and it's like it's time to leave the darkness of the past as we emerge from the cave, re-energized, reinvigorated, the opportunity for sort of next chapter moving on. So you'd understand why I've got this element of, I think it is you, Vinny, emerging from it, but the depression, and there's an element of anxiety, but certainly some darkness in the background, in the past that we continue to emerge from. Now, sometimes with the cave card, it's about the person withdrawing themselves from sort of the life. Maybe they're in an element of despair. But I also think that there was an element of loneliness involved in a situation that you would be aware of, Vinny, and that continues to be a reminder. The inquiry, the light us after that period of darkness. Healing awaits us. Turn and face the light like a solar panel. Become energized by that light. Keep on keeping on. Keep on moving. And there's this element of of rebirth, of re-energized, of reinvigorated. So, Vinny, I hope you'd understand why that card was drawn. And thanks for saying how you doing. We'll now get the. Hopefully that all makes sense, Vinny. Glad you're still there. Julie says, "Who's looking over me? I talk to my dad. I feel he can hear me, but how do I really know?" Vivid communication, Julie, would be the way that you would know for sure. And yeah, if I said to you, "Can you remember what colour your socks were yesterday?" That would be a memory. And if I said to you, "Do you remember the last time you saw your dad?" That would be a memory. And if you then say, "Oh, thank you, Vinny. Vinny was just giving us a confirmation. That's very accurate. I was just going to ask, when will I find love? I am that lonely." Well, just keep on, keep going. Heading towards the light, Vinny. Head towards the light. This is about rebirth. Keep going, my friend. Yes, so go back to Julie's question. Ask them for something more vivid than that memory. Then you will know for sure that they're around you. I mean, I have an absolute belief in life after life. And actually, I do have a man working with me right now. This man claims to know you. He claims to be your dad. Okay, so let's see if we can get some evidence from this man claiming to be your dad. He's given the letter G. G for golf, G for granny. And I feel that in bringing this forward, he also gives me the letter C. Now, G, I feel, is symbolic of a name, a significant name, Julie, that you and him would both understand. Granny. I don't know why I kept saying granny. Maybe it's a Granny Smith, like a green apple. Because I keep getting the good green apple, green granny apple. The G is really important. That was what he kept bringing forward. This man I'm asking how he passed is putting his arms up above his shoulders like this, skull and crossbones, as if I've had some sort of toxin, poison, virus that has consumed me and taken over my body. I feel like I've gone kaput. My body has been consumed by something he's describing as quite aggressive. Would you recognise this communicator? He himself was a father. The letter G is important. The green or the granny green apple was also significant. And I'm also being told that as we emerge out of spring, right? So it's a spring anniversary of a passing, Julie, which would also make sense to you. Thank you for the confirmation. You're describing the cancer, as he describes the fact that it's consumed his body and overrun his system, and you're saying yes, that you understand that. So he's telling me yes, he is absolutely with you. He'll try and create that vivid image in your mind. And he says, no, not that one, not that reflection. There's something that you're imagining right now, a time that I was quite poorly, a time that you held my hand and kissed my forehead was just a memory that you were thinking about. That's not the vivid image I'm going to give you. The vivid image is the one with the balloons, the blue and the green and the yellow balloons, the multicolour, beautiful, vibrant colours of those balloons. You remember, there's the photograph of you holding the balloons with me, he's talking about that. He's giving me this memory link, and he's talking about creating that vivid image in your head as a symbol. But the balloon, the single balloon, the red balloon on the string, the one that's not quite on helium. I don't know if it's like a McDonald's balloon. You show me the letter M. Perhaps M is just significant for you, but it's like a balloon on a stick as opposed to a balloon on a helium. And he's like, that will be the vivid image in your mind's eye to let you know that it is me. That will be my token that I share with you, Julie. And it's really important that you continue to emerge. I feel that you've been giving yourself a particularly hard time at the moment, like you've locked yourself away, that you've held back, that you've not been out. You've sort of almost confined yourself as if you're in a cell. There's been a situation where you felt trapped, Julie. You'd understand this feeling, this sensation, he tells me, of being trapped. And he's like, you're not trapped. Keep on moving forwards. The key was not turned on you. And even if it was, my darling, I'm turning the key. Keep out, keep moving, get away from there, that feeling of entrapment. Keep going forward. He knows you had no, okay, he's telling me, Julie, you felt no freedom of choice, no freedom of action, that the world had been turned to you in that sense. And he's like, well, I'm turning the key, my darling. Just keep moving. We don't want to stay here. This is a nasty feeling of feeling trapped, and move on. Move on and away, out from the prison that has been confining you, my darling. 47, he's just said 47. I don't know if he's like, it sounds like almost like bingo calling, Julie. I don't understand that. He's like 47, almost like he's calling it out. Like you would understand why I'm sort of calling like this. He sends you his love, Julie. I'm all right, love. I'm all right, love. I love you. I'm unzipping my mouth. I wasn't that good, was I, Julie, at sharing my feelings? I feel quite reserved, and I felt that was amazing to really show my love through something other than service by the way I lived my life and the actions. I love you. And thank you for kissing my forehead. I did feel that. You know, when you thought I was sort of semi-unconscious in and out. He said, 1 foot in the grave. He said, I like that show. That's him. Okay, he's just giving a glimpse of his personality. He's talking about the fact where he wasn't engaging with you, but you were with him. He wasn't responsive. Okay, 47, I became single on 57 now. Okay, keep going, my darling. Keep going. He sends you his love. Right, Julie, that was a quick message for you, and I hope I've answered your question. Thank you very much. Folks, the time is on the square. It's 9 o'clock in the UK. They say it's always 9 o'clock somewhere in the empire. But we're going to do some adverts, let you know about some of the other exciting products, events, and speakers available on Spiritual Psychics TV. We'll be right back, folks.
My Spirit Life is a free online interactive magazine for those who have an interest in improving their spiritual lives. Authors can upload images, videos, and audio clips to their own articles. The public can place comments, rate the article, and follow the author. All articles are vetted before being published. For more information and to place your own article, please visit myspiritlife.co.uk. This Sunday from 11 a.m., Wimbledon Spiritualist Church hosts the Divine Service, with online and on-location readings.
Start your day with Nick Brown this coming Monday morning from 11 a.m., with guests, readings, live interaction, and debatable topics.
Hello, folks. Welcome back. Thanks for checking out some of the adverts. Misha Oliver just come with a question about her husband, and she was sharing that her husband had passed away recently and passed away in the hospital while she was at home. Do you know, could he have come home after he passed away? So, in terms of the hypothetical, Misha, absolutely he could have. I've got a man that's linking with me now. This man is talking about. Okay, right. I've got the letter S for Sierra with him. Sierra. Stephen, Steinman, I've got that S sounding name, right? Snake, Sierra, right? So the letter S is important, Michelle, with this communicator. This communicator's taken me straight to his wedding ring finger, okay? My wedding ring is on my wrong finger. He's taken me to my wedding ring finger. I've lost a little bit of weight recently. I keep worried about losing my wedding ring. He's saying, put it on the right finger. It means something. So this man was married, and he was family to you via marriage. That is the way that he is showing this this link to me. So okay, I've got a cancerous type condition with him, Misha. He's given me the letter C. Okay, so he's given me the letter S, which was a name. He's now given me passing condition. How I'm passing, how he passed. He said cancerous type condition. I've got the letter C, and I've got impact on around my heart. I've got heart failure. It says heart failure was put on my death certificate, but I've got a slow closing, like dominoes at death's door. My immune system let me down. I was overwhelmed. Okay, Michelle. So would you understand this man claiming to be related to you via wedding, often a husband or a partner? He's talking about this cancerous type condition, this immune system, heart failure, being sort of overrun. Okay, I think you're saying thank you so much that you do understand. So as this man communicates with me, he said, yeah, absolutely. I came home almost immediately to see you. I felt somewhat trapped, like an umbilical cord to my body. And as soon as I was able to give up that body, and Misha, I know, he said, I know you did want me to go, and if I could have stayed, I would, but it was gone. That body had let me down. Would you understand, Misha, why I tell you it was a relief for me? He says it was a relief for me to finally be relinquished from that prison that was that vessel. So as soon as I could, I came to let you know. There was the window, you know, the window with the blind, Michelle. That's what he's saying, and you're saying yes, confirmation. It was his heart that was talking about the heart failure, wasn't he? He is telling me that the window with the blind, there is something which is hanging from the window. It looks like either a dream catcher or a wind chime of some sort. And he is telling me that he almost wished through the window. He didn't want to waste any time going in through the door, but he said he went out through the door and it was like a rattle. And he said he made a noise. He influenced that window, and there was some sort of mailbox which he influenced on the way out. And it was almost like a gush of wind, and there was the smell. Okay, this man is very sincere, Michelle, very kind, very sort of caring, and he was just talking about having a damp smell. There was this damp smell, this weird damp smell. He's saying like a wet blanket, like the dog that got wet. Is though there was that damp dog wet smell, and it's like it was a foul smell, and he's taking responsibility for that. And it was like it was there and then it was gone, and he said it was very, very sort of aware. I know that your profile picture is of a dog. It's almost like a spirit animal or a wolf there, but I've also got him talking about the boy, Michelle. I've got the boy with me. Okay, he was giving that confirmation. He was also talking about a telephone number, and the one that ends in, is it 49? He was just talking about, you know, yeah, I don't know if it was some sort of landline number. It was just mentioning there 7493749, something like that. It was just giving those numbers coming into my head. He was also talking about the significance of his passing, Michelle. The time that you were aware of him was around the time that he had passed, but he waited. There was something about the clock, and I don't know if it was 3:33 or 33 minutes past something, but he's like the 3 and the 3, the 3 and the 3. It was significant. You looked at the time, picked up what looks like a mobile phone or a device, and it feels like you look at the time. It feels like it was quite dark around this time, and you've looked at the 3, and the 3 is significant. He's taking my head. Okay, he's just giving my take that away. My right eye, my right hand side of my head. And I just feel there's been an impact around that. Someone else, there was a slip, trip and fall. Someone banged their head, Michelle. As you said, we're sending them some healing right above the right eye on a bit of a headache. Okay. So, Michelle, I've given you some evidence there of this person claiming to be your husband. I hope you understand that evidence. That all makes sense to you. And you're talking about 49 when it passed, okay, and all the evidence is relevant to you. But yeah, absolutely, he did make himself known to you, and he continues to do so. He's just making a joke about a rapping and a tapping. He's like bang bang, bang bang, and he's like, you know, two knocks for yes, 3 years, 3 knocks for I'm not there. And he was sort of making a laugh of it. Are you there? He's like two for no, and he was trying to have some sort of fun around that. And he's just trying to show that his personality is, you know, fully intact, transferred over. And that he enjoyed putting a smile on your face, particularly the dirty, he just called it a dirty laugh. He said, I love a dirty laugh that comes straight from the belly when she's least expecting it. She doesn't like, but that's the sort of laughter I want to see, like a good old dirty belly laugh. He just said, spontaneous when you're not trying to hold it back. And he sends you his love, Michelle. You say, thank you very much. You are very welcome, Michelle. So that's some really good questions tonight, folks. Thank you for challenging me. Do you like this format? Do you like us being able to do listeners' questions and answer questions? I love answering your questions. I always take a bit of a spiritual advancement myself. Show can take us absolutely anywhere. So next couple of weeks, we're going to talk about guides. You know, so do try and get some evidence of your own guides, because it's always better evidence for me when I can verify a guide rather than give you a new guide. Right, Jessica on YouTube says, I have a question. I can at times connect to people's loved ones, but none of my family, my dad, brother, or mum. How can I remove this blockage? Jessica, it is one of the frustrations of many mediums that the hardest people to read for are friends and family, and the hardest people to give direct communication for are yourself. It's just one of those things. Now, part of it is that we're flooded with memories and experiences with those loved ones that you really have to surrender yourself to spirit. So when you talk about a blockage, I have this with my nan, right? So I love both my nans, you know, equally. My nanny Hazel in particular, I used to have a lot of conversations with, and right up to you know, a couple of days before she died, I'd ring her up and have chats with her, and I would download my life and my nan knew everything from my love life to my work life to how much money was in the bank, not in the bank, what I'd had for dinner. And I missed that. I missed those physical conversations I used to have. And a few times I've said to my nan, why can't I do that? And I get this vivid image of that sort of communication. And I know that when I truly surrender myself to spirit, that is her. That is her saying, I'm here right now. I'm listening and I'm talking. And it's hard. So I think a lot of the blockages are us not fully surrendering to that and being aware of subconscious sort of feelings. But just continue to trust in spirit. If you're reading for other people, you know there's a life after death. You know that your friends and family are there. Just allow them to come. And in terms of voice, desperately hear from, remember that the physical voice you had will only ever really exist as a memory, because she has no voice box now. She has no physical body. But within your mind, you have the capacity, you have the memories of that voice. And what she can do is quite vividly influence what she will say. So find yourself some quiet, find yourself some still, Jessica, and ask her to vividly influence so you hear that. And she was just, okay, right. I believe I've got a woman here claiming to be your mum working with me right now. I asked her for a name. She said, Mum. You'd understand that sort of sense of humour. She's the one pulling out the mum jokes. I've also got the letter D with her. I don't know if I've got a Deirdre or she's saying about dear, but D is important as a significant name. I've also got her taking me up towards the left-hand side of her body. She's claiming to be your mum, Jessica. She's taking me towards her heart. She's also taking me to her head. Okay, and I don't know if there are some Christian links of her. She's always doing like spectacles, wallet, watch, and she was sort of doing the cross on her body. I feel that there are these links with this woman. She is certainly a mum. She's a grandmother, and I feel like D is important, and she's sending her love. Now, Jessica, you said I've got 3 knots and my doctor's appointment is on my deceased 3 Ds. I think there's deceased birthday. I just need her to tell me it'll be okay, right? Right, we don't do fortune telling, Jessica, and she's just said to me, she goes, I can't tell you I'm okay. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. But will you be okay? You will be. You're Jessica. course you're going to be okay. You've got this. Remember, you're much braver than you think you are. I know that you have got this. And based on the direction I can see you heading, based on the experiences I believe you've got lined up, everything will be worthwhile. All of the trauma, all of the tragedy, all of that is part of your foundation. Sherry, my dad, and my brother Jeremy passed from head trauma. Okay, that's what you understand why she's linking the heart and the head. And this woman that's claiming to be mum, Jessica, that's linking with you now, just says, look, keep going on. She made a joke about the fact that she's not a doctor. She's got loads of opinions, though, Jessica, loads of opinions on everything. But she is listening. Just keep talking to me. You don't need to hear my voice to know I'm listening, Jessie. I know you're Jessica on here, Jessie. Jess, I'm listening, okay? Just know I'm with you always. Keep talking to me. That's what she was just saying. Keep talking to me, Jessie. Keep talking. I'm listening, and I'll give you that vivid imagery. I always imagine my spirit communicators, Jess, in like a waiting room. And I've made the analogy a few times for those you remember Quantum Leap. I know I've just done a revised version of that, my dad was saying. But in that waiting room, she's like, oh, I've just heard about the automatic writing from the other communicator. I'll have some of that. She said, I'll have some of that. Put the book out. You haven't got a book. Notepad. She said the notepad, the one with the metal at the top, and the pen with the feather. Okay, and you say thank you for confirmation that she killed you, Jessie. The pen with the feather she likes, Jessie, and the notepad with the metal is like a spiral cord. Leave the notepad next to the bed. Just write me a question, and then in the morning write down the first thing that comes to mind. Know that I love you. Know that I am with you. I've got a lot to do up here, Jessie. I've got a lot to do, but I am with you. I am with you. I'm with you always. You got this, girl. You got this, girl. She's got like a whoop whoop. Whoop whoop. She's like banging around and making a load of noise, and she just said, draw a card for her, Jessie. The sun rises in the east every single day, and it will set in the west every single day. You know, a bit of consistency in your life, Jessie. I want to give you that consistency. I want to know that this is really important. You were just writing in my notebook. Okay, thank you for that confirmation. We spoke a lot earlier on about harvest, about working hard in the fields, and we've got the sun there. Look, they're dancing around the harvest. Okay, it's really important. This is my medieval deck. And look at all those kids skipping around the maypole celebration. And there's something about the fertility of the land. Okay, the gift and the blessing of the sun. Count your blessings. Count the things, dear. You've got a roof over your head. You've got food in the fridge. You've got she's relative love. I don't know if she's talking about love of relatives. She's talking about the fact that confidence. Okay. I know that you're okay. Right. We should never make assumptions. Sorry. So Jessica, I identify as a female name. I'm not sure if that is how you identify, but I've got your mum calling you her, she, but she was talking about male energy, okay? And with this sun card, she was like, give her some male energy. The energy, I feel that it's to help with your confidence. I want to bring out that confidence again. I don't want it hiding behind the sun. I want you to see the success. I want you to know that the sun is around you. It rises in the east. It is influencing you, and it represents the conscious power of the intellect. You got this, girl. You got this, Jessie. She said that with an accent. Jessica, I don't know where you are joining us from the world, but I've got links across the pond from where I am now. You'd understand this international link between the United Kingdom and the United States of America. Jessica says, wow, confirmation. I hope that that brings you some peace, Jessie. Whole party up here. Like, she was like, whoop, whoop. And she's like, everyone's here. Everyone's here. We're all G'ing you on. You got this, Jessie. You got this. Jessie says, I finally got my niece and nephew back into my life after 3 years, so I've been absolutely been blessed. Yes, you have. And Jessie, you, Alabama. Okay, so you'd understand the links across the pond. She keeps getting me to do a funny accent. She's like, your accent is funny, but it's not American. She's got no filter, your mum, Jessie. No filter at all. I like her. I really like her because she calls it what it is. And she finds it funny, me trying to repeat her. Alabama, it makes sense now, as the sort of the accent, but she's laughing. She's in like fits of laughter. She's like, I don't know what that accent is, but it's not American. Do it again. Do it again. She sends you a love, Jessie. And Jessie, you've had the final question of the day. I'm glad I've been able to answer it. I'm glad I've been able to give you some evidence of your mum's life after life. She's absolutely with you. Folks, it's been a fantastic show. It is flown by this evening. I've loved working with you. I've loved engaging with you. I love you, the wonderful family of Spiritual Psychics TV. Folks, do head over to my social media pages at Ash Robinson Medium. You can find out more information about me there. So every other Friday I'm on YouTube and Facebook doing free readings. I'm available for private readings and other stuff as well. I've got a young family, I've got 3 little boys, so I am taking some time out over the summer to be with them. Native Dreamcatcher said, I'm new here, I've just subscribed, I'm an empath and a spiritual medium and healer. Native Dreamcatcher, it is lovely to meet you this evening. We talked a little bit about Native American Indians and my guide as well. Michelle says you really are amazing. Oh, thank you very much, Michelle. I think you're amazing too. I'm so grateful for your words. Thanks so much. I express how much love I love my husband. You have given me hope. I am really pleased that is the case, Michelle. And I hope you've all found some upliftment tonight, folks. Teresa says she loves watching me. Thank you, Teresa. I love spending time with all of you as well. It's a big commitment for Richard to produce all these shows, and I'm grateful and blessed to have Richard in my life. My circle leader Mary there saying she's had a good night. Thank you. No idea how bad I need this today, says Jessie. You're very welcome. So I think we should also thank you to Richard for doing a fantastic job. His mission to connect like-minded people, to bring spiritual people together. And I think he does that, you know, several times a day, every day. A fantastic ambassador for that religion I'm proud to be part of, called spiritualism. Thank you, Richard. Thank you to all the lovely viewers and listeners. L'Oreal, Rembold Perry, I'm across the pond as well. Well, God bless you all and good night.